dead.
What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. I have some less than stellar news. My turd is dead. In case y'all didn't know, as we were leaving the meet and greet on Saturday at the Fairing Exchange, I made about 150, 200 feet from the tent and it just stopped. I'll put that right here.
We got nothing. We got nothing.
Yeah, so that's what happened. No rhyme or reason, don't know why. Everything was fine. So here's where we're at currently. I just want to go through a couple checks with you. Don't mind the mess. This is literally the Monday after the event. All the stuff from the last bike I just did is in here. One of our yard ornaments is in here because it was raining and we had to pull it in. Just so you know, it's a mess in here right now. And unfortunately, I got no lights on. I'm out here in diag mode. So currently, here's what we know. If you listen, we have a fuel pump. Throttle body checks. We have no engine code. Apparently my fob battery is low, but we don't care. So when I crank it, that's all we get. And once again, no engine light. So nothing's helping me. There's nothing to tell me what's wrong. The first step in this diag, if you will, is to see if we have spark. But first, coffee. I love how he's behind me in this. This is priceless. This is how professional we are in my shop. So I'm going to lower you guys down here because it's going to make it easier. One of the first things we're going to check is to see if we have spark. Right? It's the easiest thing to do. It's right here in front of us. We can plug in a spark checker. If you don't have one of these, you can pick them up at a local auto parts store. You can get it on Amazon, everybody's favorite. You can also order them online from a tool manufacturer. Wherever you choose to source it is fine with me. And then we're going to snap that in line, just like we did here. And then we're going to crank the bike over and we're going to look for spark. And I'm going to let all of you tell me if we have spark or not. It appears that we have spark. That was pretty quick and simple to find out. So here's what I want to say next. Because we have spark, we know that the CKP sensor is working, so we don't need to check that. We know that the coil is working, coil is firing, that's why we have spark. We know that the spark plug cable is good. We know that the spark plug itself may be fouled. That's not our concern. But we know that the spark plug is connected to the head, so it can complete the circuit and cause the spark. Now that we know that spark is established, our next step, what do we need? Guys, backing up just a moment, what do we need to make an engine run? We need compression, we need gas, and we need spark, right? Spark ignites the gas, and the compression compresses the gas, which makes the engine go round and round and round. Now, we also know that we have no engine codes. So currently we can assume that everything on the throttle body side is operational and the map sensor isn't failed, the TPS sensor hasn't failed, the throttle body isn't stuck. Since we can assume that, the next thing is let's check fuel, right? That's our next easiest step. We can definitely check compression, but I'm gonna work it from fire to fuel. We're gonna go fuel next. I unscrewed the gas cap. I don't know if we can see in there. I hear it. Do y'all see it? So we see it splashing around. There is definitely gas in there. It may be on the low side, but there's enough gas to make it run. So experience now, guys, this is experience, but experience has taught me that normally when something like this happens, we've got a fuel problem, especially if we have fire. Now we're going to assume this has a Thunder Max module in it. We're going to assume that there's nothing wrong with the Thunder Max module. We can test that. I have my stock ECMs here. We can definitely unplug the Thunder Max module and plug in the stock one and try to crank it. But before we go that far, before we assume that it's the module, let's finish checking the fuel system. So there's a couple ways to do this. We can disconnect our fuel line from the fuel tank. This quick disconnect right here, we can disconnect this, guys. And normally when you disconnect it, it should go psst, a little bit of gas might want to try to spray out, and then it's going to dribble. And that would be normal because it's going to be pressurized. It's going to be pressurized to, I can't remember the spec, but it's going to be right around 50 PSI. Let's just say that. It's probably more like 55, but we're just going to say 50. Since I don't have a fuel pressure tester at my ready, I don't actually own one. That kind of puts me at a disadvantage for checking fuel pressure. There's a couple ways to skin this cat, like I always like to say. Let's listen one more time. Do we hear the fuel pump run when we key on? The fuel pump is supposed to initialize. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but the fuel pump definitely initialized. So it sounds like the fuel pump built pressure. It kicked on and then it kicked off. It's a normal cycle. So that's not giving me any indication of something being right or something being wrong. Again, no engine codes. My next step, because I don't have a fuel pressure tester, is I'm going to take the fuel pump plate, I'm going to take the dash off, and I'm going to lift the fuel pump out of the tank, and then I'm going to key on again, and we're going to see what happens. What I'm looking for, what my brain would like to believe, is that I have a hole in the umbilical cord. So one of a few things, right? Inside the fuel tank here, there's an umbilical cord that goes from the quick disconnect on the side of the fuel tank up to the fuel pump. And what does that look like, you might ask? It looks like this. This is the umbilical cord. Now, just so you guys know, this one was a takeout one from someone that decided to unscrew their quick disconnect without disconnecting it from the fuel pump. If any of you have ever done this to yourself, you'll know exactly how this happened. No, I did not do this, but I like to keep these. You keep this and you end up making a tool out of it. I'll explain that later. You got this, and anyways, we're not going to talk about that. So this is what I am hoping maybe has a hole in it. There is a small potential that this separated. There's also a fuel pressure regulator housing. There's a whole fuel pressure regulator, but the housing inside of there is made of plastic. And in that plastic, there's a metal, like a U. It's a metal U, basically. And it slides in and it clips. Well, what happens sometimes is that the housing, the lower housing that holds the filter, will get cocked sideways and there'll be an opening there. Or the O-ring itself around that housing can get blown out. And then it's a loss of pressure, which causes a very similar situation to what we're going through right now. I'm hoping that it's something as simple as that. Sounds like the fuel pump is running, so I'm going to assume that the fuel pump is okay. I do know, I'll just show you guys, because I already did this, but when we key on, I know you heard that, when we build that pressure, if you notice, when I take this off, no fuel went. There was no indication of real pressure. So that's a quick diag to say, oh, well, something is probably going on in here. Why? We don't know yet, but we're about to find out. So let me get you guys set up over here. I got to get the seat off of the bike so I can get the dash off. And then we're going to actually open this tank together and we're going to take a look in and see what we can find. So as I stated to you guys, our next step, since I don't have a fuel pressure tester, is we're going to check the fuel pressure visually. We're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to get rid of this stuff for now. And now we're going to take this off. And we're going to take real good care not to damage our paint. I'm using a brass drift, and I'm not striking down at the fuel tank, I'm striking directly across the fuel tank. And we're going to pop up this ring here, just as I did. And set that off to the side, and then we're going to lift, and we're going to see what's going on in here. Now, I should bring you in here because I don't immediately see anything wrong, but I do want you to be a part of what I'm seeing. So this is the regulator housing right here that I was talking about. And if we take a glance, we can see the fuel. So we know that there's gas in it. And if you notice, something's missing. That would be why we have a problem. Our fuel line has come disconnected. So it looks like it's going to be an easy fix, thank God. Which is a rarity, believe it or not. But it's good to know. So let me fish that out of here. This, by the way, guys, is the housing that I was telling you about. And this is that U-hook that I was telling you about. I don't know, I realize this isn't the easiest to see. But if you see that piece of metal, it's shaped very much like a U. It goes through it and it has a clip. Inside of this housing where you see this potential air bubble is a filter. And under here is an O-ring. So when you push this out, this separates. That's how you replace your fuel filter. For any of you that was wondering, that's how you do it. Now, since we know, obviously, that our fuel line is not connected, I'm gonna have to fish that out. So I'm gonna set you guys up and fix that. And I'm really happy to get my bike fixed this way, because it doesn't actually cost me any money. And for those of you wondering why that happened, hey guys, it's editing Chris. I had filmed an entire piece explaining what happened and pulling the piece off and showing you everything, and it's not there. I'm inside editing right now, and I realized that that's missing. So I put my smart jacket on. I grabbed my coffee because, you know, it's that time of the day. Here's what I found, guys. This piece, this is what failed. As a matter of fact, just to show you, there's an ear missing on one side. This should have 2 ears. Now, I don't know how well we're going to be able to focus in on that. Now, this is pretty stiff. These are normally fairly flexible. This one is pretty stiff. It's been dried out for a few days. This is, what day are we? It's Friday. So this happened, you know, a few days ago. This has been sitting over here on the bench for a little while. Just to grab this, because off camera, here's the other piece. I was able to locate it. I totally lucked out. It was right down in the bottom. I could literally see it. As a matter of fact, I filmed me grabbing it with my long hemostats. But again, all that's missing. So we're backing up in time, and I'm just explaining it now. This broke, obviously. That is why the fuel line came off. That's why the umbilical cord was unattached in the fuel tank. Why exactly that broke, I don't know. This handles 55 PSI. Now, you know what? 2 seconds. So if you remember the broken umbilical cord, as a matter of fact, I stole the piece out of that. If you saw in the video, this was in there. I used the one that was in this on my bike. Now, normally, you want to replace these anytime you've been in your tank, right? I was in my tank about almost 3,000 miles ago when we put on this Advan Black flat side tank. I did not replace these at that time. I didn't feel like I needed to. Obviously, this one is very brittle. Like I was saying, normally they're a little more flexible. I don't know what kind of plastic they're made out of, if it's Viton, I don't know. But the flexibility is what's important, because then the ears don't get brittle and break off, or whatever has happened. Obviously it broke off, it's missing. So normally, if you notice, your fuel line has these windows in it, and these have these ears that, let's see if you can hear it. Well, this one won't quite snap in because there's a missing ear, but they snap in and they hold that against 55 psi. Well, when you're missing one side, obviously it can always get cocked a little sideways, and then it doesn't take much to just go and blow it right off. And that's essentially what happened. Now that I've explained that, I'll let you get back to the video. There, did you happen to hear that click? Got everything back inside the fuel tank. I'm just double checking my connectors and anything else. Okay, now I'm pretty confident that that's what fixed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together without even testing it. Same thing, guys. Across the tank, not at the tank. And don't hit the crap out of it either. You notice I was very friendly to it. Now, very quickly, we're going to test whether that was the fix or not. Sounds like we have ourselves a winner. Yes, we do. And let me show you how I know. If you guys remember just a moment ago in the video, I said when we disconnect this quick disconnect fuel line, it should squirt just a little bit. It should show evidence that it has pressure. This is what I meant when I said that. So we're going to key on. Oh, I know you heard that fuel pump run. Now it just purged the air, but let's see what happens when I disconnect it now. Did anybody happen to catch that? If not, I'll do it the other way. Okay. Now, did y'all see that squirt? I know you did. That's what I meant when I said there was no indication of pressure. Just like that, we have fixed my bike. So this ended up being a very quick and simple diag. And that's really how it should be in a shop environment, guys. It's a shame that that happened. To be honest with you, it was rather embarrassing that it happened during Biketoberfest where it happened. That really sucked. It was a tough pill to swallow. But you know what? At the end of the day, shit happens. You know, as crappy as it was, I'm so glad it happened where it did. I want to give a shout out to Jordan Huerta at Teddy Morse Daytona Harley Davidson. He immediately came down. He brought a spark tester with him. We tested spark in the parking lot. We knew it had spark. We did not have a fuel pressure tester in the parking lot. I decided, rather than waste their time, because it was event time and they were rather busy, so rather than have them go out of their way to try to help me, I thought, you know what? I'm going to take this thing home myself. We're going to diag it together, you and I. And then we're going to figure out what happened and we're going to fix it, because that's what I do at the end of the day. Fortunately, it was just a disconnect of a fuel line. It definitely had a hole in the umbilical cord. It had the biggest hole it could possibly have. I guess I lucked out in those regards. Prentice, Big Aaron, thank you both. You guys were a huge help pushing it on the trailer for me. You guys were right there. Thank you, Aaron. You are always in my corner. Prentice as well. Thank all of you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. This was very short, very easy. It didn't take too long. And in the end, it's fixed. So Grouchy Nug lives another day to be just as grouchy as it always is. And I want to thank each and every one of you that came out for the meet and greet. I love all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. So now that I've got this done, we're going to head out for lunch as we normally do. We're taking Mama's bike. I'm going to be on Honeybee and she's going to be on Cujo. we've got some friends in town. We've got Mark, also known as Moto Mortician. He's in town. He's going to meet up with us here at the house, and then we're going to head over to Cocoa Beach, where we're going to meet up with Mike and Pauline. Mike and Pauline are here from England. I met them a couple years ago, and they don't get across the pond all that often. We're going to take this opportunity to meet up with them.
Good morning. It's a little overcast, but it's going to get really sunny here. It's supposed to be a beautiful day here in Florida, and we are going to meet some friends. I'm so excited. Someone that I've been friends with for a little bit of time on the Instagrams. His name is Mark Moto Mortician. Check out his Instagram. Super nice guy. I'm super excited to see him again. We're meeting our other friends that we've met before from England. So I'm really excited. Today's going to be
the whole other side of the pond.
Across the pond. Way across the pond, which we still have not been able to get over there, but we do plan on doing it, especially to go see our friends in Scotland, Gareth and Sarah. So We're really excited about that. But today is a jam-packed day, so we're gonna go over towards the Cocoa area right now and have a little food on the water and meet up with everybody. We met up with our friends from England. Say hi. Hi. How was the food?
Brilliant, delicious.
Good? Did you like the food?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're full. We're full for now. Yeah.
Wherever you be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay upside, and I'll see you on the flip.